Hey everybody, this is Kiera Gladney, aka Rip Material, and I wanted to do this video last week, but because of my busy schedule and my husband's busy schedule, I kind of got away with the time, and now I'm here a week later doing this video because I think it's important that we do this. I'm currently in my car about to have a meeting in a little bit, but I did want to talk to you guys just for a little bit about love. I know last week we call it the Day of Love, Valentine's Day. This is what the world calls it as a saint of God, or just someone who researches days that we celebrate. We know that Valentine's Day is a paganistic holiday that really talks about, you know, rape and things like that, but we're going to take it as the Day of Love last week. And on that day, a lot of people expressed their loves in different ways. They gave flowers, they gave candy, they gave, like, you know, nice sentimental dates and cards and things like that. And a lot of people gave away their virtue. A lot of people gave away their time on possible relationships that they knew wouldn't work. A lot of people gave away, like I said, their virtue, and will never get those moments back. Whatever it was, I hope that if you celebrated it, I hope that it was good to you. I hope that whatever you gave on that day is something that you could accept giving. And I hope that you have been enjoying your time so far. I really just wanted to talk about love. And we know that in the Bible, we know that in the New Testament, it basically says that God is love. And when we think about love, we think about the essence of all that God is. He is just, he is righteous, he is holy, he is always giving of himself. He gave his life for a sinful man such as us. And so when we think about love, it is the epitome of what God is and what he gives to us. And so I often think about how my definition of love has matured over time. My interpretation of what love is and how I could give it has improved over time, from the time that I was in my singleness to the time that I'm married. And now that the time that I'm married to the time that I'm a mother, my love has changed. My love for myself has matured and changed from the time that before I was pregnant until the time now, because I had to now accept what I was now and how I look now and who I am now. And when I think about love, I think about it in the essence of what God meant when he told us that we are supposed to love one another. We love one another past the things that people do for us. Love is not even, it's not even when you talk about what someone does for you. Love just is. If no one ever does anything for you, that does not mean that you stop showing love or giving love. And I think the thing that we mess up on is when we think that love is doing something for someone. Now, we know, we read Gary Chapman's 5 Love Languages and acts of service and things like that. But love itself is the essence of who God is. The characteristics of God: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, temperance, meekness, faith, those things. And when you don't freely give those things, even forgiveness, if you don't freely give those things, you don't really have the love of God. And when, you know, even the topic of this video will be, I'm searching for a real love. The real love that you will, the most real love that you will ever have and experience is the love of God. The love that looks at you compared to the mirror of holiness and knows that you don't add up, and he still sees you worthy to have everything that he wants to give you: peace, joy, love, abundant life, everlasting life, if you continue in him. He gives all of those things, knowing that sometimes you won't do what you're supposed to do, knowing that sometimes you won't forgive your brother, knowing that sometimes you do things that you know that you're not supposed to do, but God still shows love to us. This is the love of God. This is the best love that you will ever have. And when you look for a spouse, and I often thought about this when I was thinking about getting married and wanting to get married, the first thing everybody tells you is to write out a list of things that you want, things that you don't want, things you'll accept, things that you won't accept. And I said, okay, cool, this is great. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this list. So I started writing out the list of what I wanted. I wanted somebody that loves me. I wanted somebody that was gonna accept me. I wanted somebody that was going to enjoy being around me. I wanted somebody who was going to love God more than me. Okay, I wanted somebody that was going to humble himself to the work of God. I wanted somebody who was, financially stable, who had a job, who had a career, who went to college. I wanted somebody who was not married before. I wanted somebody who didn't have children. Things like that are things that I wanted from God. Those were things that I needed from God, okay? There were a lot of things that I really didn't care about. I didn't really care about if that person was a virgin before they got with me. I really didn't care about if that person lived in Michigan or not. I really didn't care about some of those things, like some of the superficial things. I really didn't care about if he had owned a home yet, or if he owned 5 vehicles. Like that wasn't important to me, because at the time I didn't own a vehicle. At the time I didn't have a home, so I wasn't expecting him to have those things, but when we got together, acquire those things. But then I subconsciously compared to the things that I have and the characteristics of my father, my earthly father, my dad, and how he was so trustworthy. He was awesome. He was funny. He was kind. He was giving. He was protective. All of those things. And so it's so funny because how it was just second nature for me to think about, did he have those characteristics of my earthly father? And then I subconsciously thought about, okay, well, does he have the characteristics of my spiritual father? And I think that's one of the things that we need to think about when we start choosing a spouse, or when we start wanting to have a spouse, because he eventually chooses you. The man pursues you. Just want to put that out there. Not saying that you can't talk to somebody, you can't reach out to people, but in reality, he is supposed to chase you. Don't chase him. But the thing I think about the most is how, we are ultimately supposed to compare our list that we want to the essence and the characteristics of what God is. He's loving, he's kind, he's not puffed up, meaning he's humble. He knows, he doesn't even remember those things out of hostility that we did. That's what your spouse is supposed to do. He's supposed to forgive you. He's supposed to love you. He's supposed to want to do right by you. He wants to be faithful to you, And I thank God for my spouse, and I thank God for the wisdom to pray for those things in a spouse. The fact that my husband never gives up on me. My husband never stays angry for a long period of time. My husband always thinks of the bright side of things. My husband is always pushing himself out of sadness or grief or whatever it may be, even when I sometimes like to mope in it. I like to just sit in the essence of sadness sometimes, and I know it doesn't sound good, but I'm being honest in saying that I appreciate his love for me to push me out even when I don't want to be pushed out. And this is the essence of who God is. When we don't even want to be pushed out of sin, when we don't want to be pushed out of sadness, when we don't want to be pushed out of depression, because we actually make a home in it, we make a bed in it, we make a relaxation in that sin, in that sadness, in that depression, in that madness, in that chaos in our lives. But God, who is rich in mercy, steps in and sits right in that problem with us and changes the situation inside of us and around us at the same time. That's the love of God. The love of God is, even when I was yet in sin, he died for us. This is the essence of who you look for when you think about real love. That even in times when you are sad, you're depressed, you're mad, you're upset, and you feel like nothing else can help. It's a song that says, when nothing else could help, love lifted me. And even in life, especially after having a baby and the things that I experienced in life and from other people, when nothing else around me could heal me and fix me, God's love lifted my life. It lifted that depression off of me. It lifted that madness off of me. It lifted that unforgiveness off of me. And that is what my husband did as well. My husband didn't just sit there with me for 6 weeks when I was off. when I couldn't do things for myself, when I was sick trying to recover, my husband actually got on his face for me. And not just got on his face, my husband got up and went to church. I made my husband every Wednesday night for Bible study, every Sunday for service. I made him get up and go. Every preaching engagement that he had before we had the baby, he kept it, because I fully believe in supporting the ministry that God has given to my husband and the ministry that God has given to me. So he went and did what he was supposed to do, and I sat there in the house and did what I was supposed to do, and then my husband came back to me and took over. But this is the love of God. When we love God, we love the ministry that he's given to us. When we love God, we love those that God has given to us. We don't allow ourselves to get so stuck on us that we allow God's work to be undone, and we don't allow it to be finished. I love my husband because even when I was in the state of depression, he sat there with me. He helped me. He loved me. He even matured me, because he checked me so many times, like, this ain't like God. God don't do this. You better get it together. And that in itself helped me. It matured me. It blessed me, because I didn't realize that somebody could love you to the extent that they push you out of depression. He prayed me out of depression. He fasted me out of depression. He read scripture to me out of depression. He preached to me out of depression. And this is God. He ministers to us even when we don't realize it. Even when we're going on with our daily routines of life, he ministers to us. It can be from something little, like someone saying hi to you, or a commercial on TV, or something that you read on Facebook or on Instagram. Whatever it may be, God can put a word in anything. And this is who he is. This is who we love. This is the love that we look for. Somebody who's going to forgive us. Somebody that's going to love us. Somebody that's going to be faithful to us. A lot of people think that love is just staying in relationships that don't work. Love is staying in a relationship where people continuously cheat on you. Love is just something that you should be abused, whether it's emotionally, verbally, mentally, physically. Those are not, that's not love. That's not love. And I want people to know that's not love. And I'm not telling you to get divorced, because the only time you should get divorced is you know, if that person died. I mean, well, you shouldn't get divorced anyway. So I guess that's not divorce. That's being widowed. But here nor there. The point is that love is something that we should all look for. Okay? Love is something that we should all look forward to. Because the greatest love that we could have is the love that Jesus Christ gave to us, and he expressed to us even before he knew us, you know, even before we knew him personally. We weren't even thought about yet, but he still thought about me. And that is how the love of God is going to be. The love of a spouse is going to be. And we just have to accept that love and walk in it, and it'll be our reality. So again, I hope that your day of love reflected that love, and if it didn't, maybe you need to rethink about that love. I love you guys. I hope that this video finds you well. I hope that you got something from it. Like, share, subscribe. I love you guys, and hopefully I'll be doing a video more often. You guys need to pray that my baby acts right, okay, y'all, so that I can do more videos. But I love you guys. I'll pray for you, you pray for me, and have a blessed one.